Silent Hill is back, but not in the way you remember. Silent Hill F takes the series out of its American setting and drops us into a fog-ridden Japanese village. The familiar dread is still here, but the way it whispers feels different. It's quieter, scheming, and unexpectedly personal. A quick heads up, this review is mostly spoiler-free, but I will mention some story beats, enemies, and core mechanics. So, if you want to experience everything blind, pause now. Otherwise, let's go. The first thing that hits you when you play the game is how self-contained the story feels. There are little threads that nod to the wider Silent Hill mythos, but overall, Silent Hill F stands on its own. Moving the setting from the familiar deserted American town to a small Japanese village isn't just cosmetic. It changes the entire texture of the horror. The fear here is rooted in gossip, ritual, and the claustrophobia of close communities rather than the open and isolating emptiness of a ghost town. That tonal shift makes the game read more like an adaptation than a numbered sequel. It reminded me of Silent Hill: The Short Message in Spirit, a contained, focused tale that plays with the series' language instead of repeating it. Because of that choice, the game can afford tonal swings, classmates' banter lands more often than you'd expect, and those little awkward jokes humanize the cast. And that humanizing makes the horror hit harder when it arrives.
いつまでも宇宙船総ごっこをしていたい。私かお前の夢の中ってことはないよな。
だったら互いの頬をつねり合ってみるか。
いや、自分の頬くらい自分でつねれる。
The village itself is layered. Residents who seem fine on the surface, rituals that read as normal until they twist, and a fog that holds secrets rather than just blocking sight. When the other world finally folds the village into a dark castle, it's a striking pivot, visually and thematically. That other world doesn't feel tacked on, it reframes the fear around a grander mystery, one that feels like you're on an old and scary urban legend. And at the center of the story is Hinako.
ひなこ？あ、ごめん。何？
She joins Silent Hill's lineage of broken protagonists, but her wounds are very different. They're small, personal things like school, romance, and expectations, and that grounded focus makes her reactions feel more relatable.
ひなこってしゅうくんと話すときは男の子みたいな喋り方だよね。昔の癖が今も抜けないからかな。
俺たちは幼い頃からの付き合いだからな。
ふーん。だから男女の関係にはならなかったってわけ。
今はそんな話をしてる時じゃないぞ。行こう。
Look.
Oh, hell no!
When the nightmare presses, it presses on things you recognize. A dark castle, lifelike dolls, and a mysterious foxboy. You know, the normal stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a powerful choice for a franchise that usually deals in grand and existential pain. And that otherworld's mood is reinforced by who and what hunts you. Silent Hill's iconic nurses are gone. In their place are creatures like the Kashimashi. These are humanoid doll-like figures that echo mannequin aesthetics from the Silent Hill 2.
Shut up and take my money!
Then there are the Arabare. These are massive hulking threats that blend the insane cancer from Silent Hill 3 and the pyramid head from Silent Hill 2.
But wait! There's more!
Some enemies, like the previously mentioned Arabare, can only be incapacitated for minutes. They rise again and keep haunting the player, which makes the world feel more relentless.
A few moments later.
You can thoroughly clear an area and relax. Certain threats can track you across sections until the story gives you room to breathe. It's simple, but it adds a persistent dread that small disposable monsters never did. Enemy behaviors also tie into how the game wants you to fight. Their telegraphed attacks, stagger windows, and chase patterns reward patience, observation, and timing. And that leads right into how the combat system was designed. Because Silent Hill F's atmosphere is only as effective as the systems that support it, the gameplay matters a lot. Structurally, Silent Hill F follows the usual survival horror loop: explore, find items, solve environmental puzzles, and unlock the next area.
Of course!
That core loop is intact, polished, and paced to let both tension and curiosity build. Where the game diverges itself from the rest of the series is its combat. A lot of people calls it Souls-like, and they're not wrong. Hinako's evasions look dramatic, timing windows are tight, and countering opens heavy damage. Even if the developers push back on that label, the influence is very clear. The absence of firearms is a design pivot worth noting. At first, removing guns feels limiting, but it forces closer, more personal confrontations. Without range safety, the game makes you respect distance and position. Even small enemies matter because closing gaps is very dangerous. That intimacy makes hits feel like consequences and every dodge feel earned. Puzzles here are simpler than classic Silent Hill riddles, but often that's to the game's benefit. A standout example is the Scarecrow flashcard puzzle. It's simple, unsettling, and if you pick wrong, the Scarecrow fights back. A neat blend of puzzle and threat that keeps the players at the edge of their seat. But none of this works if the game doesn't run well. So, here's how it performs. On base PS5, I ran the game mostly in performance mode and it hit a steady 60 frames per second. Hell yeah! The visuals are intentional, detail where it matters, murk where the fog should hide the truth. It's a purposeful use of fidelity to enhance the mood rather than just flex graphics. For portable play, early testing suggests low setting options with AMD FSR can reach acceptable frame rates. Battery life, of course, will vary depending on your chosen setting, but average is around 2 hours on low settings, especially on the Steam Deck. Silent Hill F is an impressive reimagining of what a Silent Hill game can be. It proves the series can move locations, change cultural textures, and still deliver the core unease that makes Silent Hill stick. A fresh setting, a grounded protagonist in Hinako, original enemies that fit their world, and a combat system that borrows smartly from other games, all combine into something that feels alive rather than derivative. Honestly, while I'm very excited with the upcoming remake of the original Silent Hill, I'm more looking forward to what Konami can bring new to the franchise. This isn't just a safe sequel, this game is a confident step forward. If this review pushed you one step closer to the world of Silent Hill, hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more gaming reviews and streams. Also, don't forget to share your most unforgettable Silent Hill memory down in the comment section. Until then, thanks for watching, keep gaming, and stay awesome.